Going on, everybody, and welcome back to another video here on the main channel. If you guys tuned into the podcast that dropped last night, you would have heard me and Brian, or the Ferrari man, talk about the potential of Mick Schumacher, being very uncertain about his future at Haas after a statement about Mercedes saying how the Schumacher last name belongs with them and always will. There's been a lot of speculation over what that statement meant for Mick Schumacher. And late last night at around 10 p.m. here in New York, news dropped that Mick Schumacher would not be racing for Haas next year. Around 10 minutes later, it was announced that Nico Hulkenberg will be back in Formula One after a 2-year exit, a 2-year hiatus or a 1-year hiatus. I forgot how long he's been out for. Obviously making some deputy appearances here and there, being a reserve driver for Aston Martin at times. Hulk back, and Mick Schumacher is out of a drive, it looks like. But I believe will have a reserve role for Mercedes. I think that's his main, that's his number one spot right now, I guess, for in potential in terms of where he'll go next year. And I think maybe Ricciardo will fit in at Red Bull as a reserve driver. But yeah, it's been confirmed that Nico Hulkenberg will be paired up with Kevin Magnussen next year on the grid for the same team. If you told me that in 2017, 2018, that Nico Hulkenberg and Kevin Magnussen will be on the same team, I would have called you a liar in every single language that there is. Because if you guys don't know, they have that very famous incident together where Hulkenberg comes up and is basically like sarcastically complimenting K-Mag, and K-Mag says like, "Suck my balls, mate." And now they're teammates. So now they're going to be the best of friends. I mean, I think they said in the past that like they dropped that incident and it's like a one-time thing. But yeah, Haas have been known recently to like give a lot of rookies and young guns a chance. We saw the likes of Nikita Mazepin and Mick Schumacher of late. And I think at one point we're considering maybe Colton Herta here and there. But now they've gone with a full experienced driver lineup, and it's very interesting to see, especially with the history that these two upcoming teammates have. But we know Hulkenberg is a very, very consistent and good driver. Although still without a podium, he's had a lot of, I think, over the time in Formula One that he was still in Formula One, he got better and better each year. I think like 2017 was his best year, or 2018, and he finished, I think, 6th or 7th in the World Drivers' Championship, which isn't too bad. I mean, we saw with him and Ricciardo for Renault, we would often see Hulkenberg around the top 6 or top 7 every race, which is really, really cool. What was good to see back then. So we know we know what he can do. Let's see if Haas can give him a decent car to do what he did for Renault. Haas and Renault, or now known as Alpine, obviously, were rivals back in the day, but rather recently, like 2017, because Haas were, I think, 5th in their first inaugural season in Formula One, and Renault were quite close to them as well. And now Alpine or Renault and are quite a far away from Haas, and Haas has kind of dropped off, but it started to come up again. And that was the thing about Schumacher. He would crash a lot, which would obviously have reprimands in the budget for Haas, and because you got to pay the damage fees that your drivers are causing to the car. And Mick definitely had a lot of bad incidents. The one that springs to mind is Monaco for me. I don't even know if that was this year or last year, but one of the years. Even this year, though, a lot of crashes. Japan as well. I think that was under safety car he crashed as well. So, yeah, could be a financial benefit to drop him and go with a more experienced driver, especially a driver who's out of Formula One. I'm sure his contract won't be too much expensive compared to Mick's. But yeah, it'll be a really, really cool dynamic to see two rather experienced drivers driving for a pretty low mid-table car right now. Maybe the car will improve next year. I have a feeling that Aston Martin will improve. So maybe Haas could follow their footsteps and do the same. Maybe they'll have a little bit more budget to play with now that maybe Nico Hulkenberg might not crash the car as much as Mick Schumacher did. But yeah, it's sad to see Mick's time come to an end in Formula One after all the hype he had around him, obviously because of his legendary status of last name, right? His father, arguably the best Formula One driver of all time. Uh, he just hasn't quite hit the consistency we would have seen from him, but he's shown a lot of promise in places like Silverstone, where I think he got P6. Austria, he finished well. I believe France as well. He finished in the points. He's been decent at times, but he just couldn't keep the consistency. He had that run, like I said, mid-season where he's finished points. Then, besides from that, he's been well off the pace, and if not off the pace, he's been in the barrier. So, I think he still has time to develop into a decent Formula One driver. I just think there's too much talent now that Haas don't really want to waste their time on someone to continue who needs a lot more development than other drivers when people like Nico Hulkenberg and Daniel Ricciardo are available in the driver market. So, in my opinion, it's a smart move from Haas, and I'll always root for Haas, even though I'm a McLaren fan. Haas are an American team, and I'm American as well. So, it's nice to see them making this move after giving so much trust to rookies these past 2 years. They're taking a more experienced approach to things, and I think they had Romain Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen back a couple years ago. I think they upgraded from Grosjean to Hulkenberg theoretically, and so got Kevin Magnussen, who I think got a lot better than what he used to be. So, yeah, we'll see how this dynamic works out in the future next season. You guys let me know, like, how do you think K-Mag and Hulkenberg are going to work together, and where do you see Mick Schumacher's career going after this Haas stint? Do you see another entry for him back in Formula One? Let me know what you guys think. But anyway, guys, take care and peace, everybody.